Driving through these old rolling hills to the closest place to heaven I know. Heading north through Kentucky to the only place I'll ever call home. I'm leaving the bluegrass state behind, waiting for me on the other side.
So now we're ready for the fall planting. Most of you guys are getting your fall plantings prepared. Some of you guys have even started planting, depending where you are. Our planting window in northern Indiana depends on what you're planting. You know, first couple weeks of August, you're pretty safe with anything you plant. Some guys will plant brassicas a little early. Some guys will plant them a little later. It's just personal preference, but early August is pretty much when we like to get everything in the ground. So we're busy tilling up everything. My dad's been working. He tilled yesterday and the day prior some. He got a lot of the food plots tilled. This big food plot that I'm standing in, this is the one to the north part of our property, northeast corner. This is where our clover was, and the clover had been here for 3 or 4 years. It was starting to get pretty thin, so we're going to come through this year, till it up, and we're going to till it a second time because it just didn't till very well. I mean, it tilled good, but it's all clumpy still. We might have to rake it a little bit and then till it. But this is going to be brassica this year. And I'm going to tell you right now, if my gut is correct, brassicas may be the ticket this year, because I know multiple corn fields and I know multiple farmers have had to tear their corn down prior to this rain because it was dead. They just took the insurance claim and cut it down. Other farmers, if you've irrigated or if you have a low-lying area, you know, their corn's actually made it through and they're going to make buku bucks, but the food just isn't out there. The soybeans are growing, but they're just not growing as full and lush as they usually do. The corn is hit or miss as far as, you know, what conditions that field was in and was it irrigated. So food is just a lot shorter now. You know, the Midwest is known for its great food source for the deer. Not this year. So brassicas may be the ticket. So we're planting brassicas here, and then we're also planting a brassica blend mix up by the road. And then there's going to be some plantings. I know we're thinking about doing some Whitetail Institute Pure Traction. We've had good luck with that stuff, and that has some brassica leafy greens, not necessarily the bulbs like the turnips and the daikon radishes, but yeah, this whole plot's going to be brassicas with the very northern border of it where there's a bunch of walnut trees, and if you don't know anything about walnut trees, they are not good for growing stuff. We're going to come through and cut even more of them down and figure out how you treat them, because I guess the stumps is where the toxins from the walnut trees come from. But we have trouble growing stuff up there, but we figured out that easy stuff to grow like winter rye and some of the stuff in Pure Traction comes up, so we're going to plant that up there. We've got a lot of other plantings planned. But yeah, I figured I'd take you along today, tell you where we are. Sorry if I'm all sweaty and dirty, but I've been working now for the last 4 hours tilling food plots for the fall. Pretty happy with the soil that I'm discovering. This is our, I'll try to put a map up, but I'm kneeling right now in order to use the stump to hold the camera. I'm kneeling in the center spot that we planned on putting switchgrass. The only thing is, though, the switchgrass that we planted, it didn't take for whatever reason. It's been dry enough that this area, which it kind of slopes down from that'd be the west, northwest to the south, southeast, kind of slopes downward, and it gets more clay towards that end. And this will hold water some. Sometimes it'll be way too moist, but if we get it tilled and get stuff planted while it's going, I think it'll be alright. We decided that since we have the seed, we're just going to go ahead and plant a food plot in here. I mean, the soil is, I don't know if you can see this, but I mean the soil is just as dark as you can imagine for being in the woods. It looks great, and it tilled up all right. There's a lot of roots back here, but we're gonna go ahead and put a food plot in here. Haven't really decided what we're gonna put in here. It's probably gonna be winter rye is gonna get put in here because it grows anywhere. So worst case scenario, we'll have some winter rye for them late season and into the coming spring. But, yeah, it's a great exercise. I'm gonna finish up. I gotta rake this one, and then we'll probably go ahead and I'll try to plant it today. But just to stress for some of you guys, you know, me and my father, we don't work with you know, any heavy big equipment. We're not fortunate enough to be rich enough or have enough land to require a huge tractor and pull behind disker and all that stuff. A lot of what we do is done with the garden rototiller, rear tine tiller, or rake by hand. You know, if you go over to Whitetail Ambush Secrets, you'll see Randy Vanderveen. He is known to just go back into little areas, hand spray some places, kill off everything, rake it good. He'll rake it really good, get the topsoil raked up, and then he'll plant. And he never tilled because he couldn't get back there to it. There are ways to put in food plots without the heavy equipment, and I just want to stress that to you guys that can't afford or have the means to get heavy equipment in. You know, it's really nice, and I see some people online, you know, they've got the thousands and thousands of dollars for the tractors and attachments and all that stuff, and their food plots don't look any better than mine. They're just a little bigger, but bigger's not always better if you've read my website as far as food plots go. So don't be deceived by the fact that your neighbor has a 7 to 20 acre food plot, completely open, no edge brush, no brush throughout it. Don't be intimidated by it. You put in an acre, half acre food plot on your property, treat it right, plant the right stuff, and give them enough security. They're going to hit yours before they hit theirs. So that's where we're at right now. Check that out.
Cool.
You know what that equals?
Dead deer?
Dead deer. That's exactly what I was going to say.